Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How's it going? It's me, Comic Crack, and welcome. It's Sunday, and this afternoon, Rasa and I had a conversation on my channel. So if you're interested to check that out, please do so. Let me move some shit. Please go check that out if you're so inclined. If not, we're going to talk about a lot of the same stuff. There was a couple things I didn't talk about this afternoon that we'll look at in here. And I think we'll start off with this that I picked up tonight. I don't have too much to say about it. It was a bit of a disappointing read, to be honest. Finally finished off the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think it was 7 issues total. This was the last one that I need. This is the first appearance of Leatherhead, I guess, is what that's supposed to be. Turtles of this era has been something I'm very, very interested in. I really like most of what I read. This one was just, it was just a little, I don't know, it wasn't as engaging. The art wasn't quite there. This is pencils by Jim Lawson, inks by Ryan Brown, and letters by Steve Levine. Yeah, Leatherhead. So it didn't have that kind of usual grit that I like from this era. It almost felt like an introduction of a character just for a toy. I don't know if they had toys already at this time. It just fell a bit flat, to be honest. Not horrible, but not kind of peak Turtles for sure. But it is nice to have finished off that 7-issue run. There was a couple of pinups in the back here, and the one that I really dug was there's a Steve Bissette pin up here, which is really fucking good. Really great. What else was in here? Of course, shirts. It wouldn't be an 80s comic if there wasn't an advertisement for a shit ton of shirts. Hello, Dan. Give me 1 second. I'll get to your comment there. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles limited edition hardcover, 1,000 copies only, huge 560 pages from Mirage. I don't know if I've ever seen an image of this even online or anything, so I'm going to have a look online to see if I can find just what that sucker looked like. Doing a hardcover in, what is this, 1988, I think this issue came out. I mean, makes sense because obviously the Turtles just exploded. So that makes sense. Dan Elson, how are you? Sorry I wasn't able to stick around for the whole chat today and won't be able to stay for the whole wrap. But as always, thanks for the enjoying conversation and comic sharing. No worries. Stick around for a little bit, though, because I'm going to start off with looking at the stuff that you sent me for our trade. Evening, Bissette. Always great at throwing ink. Absolutely. Hello, 420. Welcome. So with that one out of the way, let's go into Dan Elson's package of comics that he sent me, because that'll lead us right into what I was reading. I'll talk a little bit about a book. I read one of the books already. Take a wild guess which one, and we'll talk about that, and that'll lead us into talking about everything else that I read this week. So I had a bunch of the Eros comics. I had some doubles. Dan reached out. He sent me stuff in the past, and we've traded in the past. I've sent him some stuff as well, too. What the heck is that? So his trade is fantastic. He had a list of stuff. The main reason, there was one book specifically he had talked to me about previously that he found in, I think it was a used bookstore, right, Dan, in like the graphic novel section. So based on that and based on stuff that I had, we worked out a trade, and I know I'm happy about it. And we'll have a look here. So first is book 1 of a Dark Horse series called Nathan Never. I think it is a Italian fumetti that they reprinted in English. Let's see the credits. Meta, Sarah, and Vigna are Nathan Never. Those are the people that created Nathan Never. Script was Michelle Meta. Art is Nicola Mari. Cover art, Art Adams. And this is from probably 90s, right? Oh, good luck. I think that says 1999. My eyes are getting shittier and shittier. It looks great. Dan had some really good things to say about this. I think this was a double for him, book one. Yeah, the adult section of my local used bookstore. Yeah, there you go. So this looks really great. My only worry is that if I really like this, good fucking luck on finding the other five, I suppose. But I like this smaller kind of format for this stuff, and the interiors look really, really great. It's a nice thick volume as well too, so very excited about that one. Way back when I lived in Ontario, I was collecting the Lone Wolf and Cub, the mini books, the big fat books. I got rid of them a long time ago because it was just they were too tiny. I believe that was the size they originally came out in, but they just were a little too small for me. They didn't really sit nicely on a shelf. They took up an awkward amount of space, so eventually they got culled from the collection. So Dan had a copy of number 1 here of Lone Wolf and Cub in the comic size. I see these every once in a while, and I've not really been keen on kind of diving in and trying to get them all. Hello. But that one, hold on one second.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good sleep. Love you. Have a good day at school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Night, babe. You all right?
School.
Yeah, that's okay. You love it. It's been great so far. Yeah.
On Tuesday, I have volleyball in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
At lunch, I have cross country.
Right.
And then in after school, I have ultimate frisbee.
Oh my goodness, that's a busy day. Yeah.
And then tomorrow
Busy.
I just have dance.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Love you. Have a good sleep. Let's see. Thanks, Lo. So excited to get this in this size. It's not a series that I'm looking to collect all of, but it is nice to have issue number 1 just to kind of sample what it reads like in kind of the comic size. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. What have I missed here? Bonelli put out 3 series. Nathan Never, Martin Mystery, and Dylan Dog. Okay, so I've read some Dylan Dog digitally. Dylan Dog is hard to find, but fantastic, but the others aren't too rare. Yeah, the Dylan Dog that I've read digitally was really great. What's going on with all the TMNT re-entering the market lately? I don't know. I'm wondering if Rasa was talking about, oh no, that was Akira that she was asking about, that apparently there was something else. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with all the TMNT. Maybe it's people that are aging out and getting rid of their collection of that stuff from the 80s. Good question. Definitely noticed that Bonelli's stuff is so good. Those covers, yeah, Miller, Wagner, Sienkiewicz, come on, put out a collected edition of the first covers. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Modit Part. Hello, Eliza. Lone Wolf and Cub covers. Excuse me. T, if you like that size, saw orders can be made for a deluxe hardcover Lone Wolf and Cub coming out soon, I think winter. That's very cool. At McNally Robinson, there was an artist edition Lone Wolf and Cub that I almost grabbed. This was months and months ago. It didn't last very long at the bookstore though. Sorry, a little bit of dinner burping up back at me. He also sent me a couple of Risograph comics as well too, both by the same creator and same, I guess, publisher. Paper City Publishing. I'm assuming that's Jacksonville. Is it Jacksonville, Florida? Is what that is from. Tony Ayupi, I think is how you pronounce the name. I don't know. Okay, so this is stuff from Clusterfucks Comics 2023. Pages 1 to 12 were from that, and 13 to 27 were from Clusterfucks Comics number 6. Page 28 is a reformatted version of the original mini comic I distributed at Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina, the summer of 2022. Okay, I've only briefly looked through this, so I haven't read that interior there. This one is a whole, it's a silent book, and it looks beautiful. I love the look of the art. I love the look of the color on this is really great. I love that it isn't printed super dark so you can see some of those textures from where it didn't quite grab the paper. It's really, really nice looking stuff. So there was this one, which is the Aquabarian. I also love the back cover. Looks like there's some collage going on there too. So I'm wondering, I know that this panel is in the book itself too. So I'm wondering if there's more kind of collage elements that he uses in this. Super cool looking stuff. I think Dan said that did you get it right from the artist, Dan? And then the other one from the same artist is called Cryptids from the Damned Platoon. Yeah, again, Paper City Publishing. Let's see. Okay, so pages 1 to 6, originally published in Municipal Threat number 3, 2023. 7 to 12 were originally published in Up to Code from 2024. So a bunch of titles I have no idea about. I am assuming these are Florida. Clusterfucks Comics is the only one that I think I know. I'm pretty sure I've run across that somewhere. This looks really good, like horror mixed with a war tale. So really, really nice looking stuff. I love things like this. So this is completely up my alley. So thank you very much. Let's see. I don't have any other Risograph comics, but I have a feeling the art would be more clear just in regular black and white, but the Risograph color is really cool. Yes, I ordered directly from him after seeing him on a video by West Coast Davengers. Oh, okay, at a con. Interesting, yes. And last, but certainly not least, the most important comic in here with an amazing, I'm assuming Dan drew this as well too, so amazing shit there. This is, I'm a huge fan of NBM and Catalan and Comcat and all of those kind of companies, Cinebook and stuff. Like, I love that stuff. And I love the stuff on the Erotica line. So this is Dr. I'm Too Big by Ignacio Noy. So I misspoke a number of times when I was looking at digitally. I read The Convent of Hell, which is one of the books that he's done. And when I was researching it, I'm sure that I saw Gaspar Noé's name attached to that book. So I made the mistake, and I've said it a number of times in videos, that all of this stuff is Gaspar Noé, who's the film director, and that turns out not to be true. The story's even better though, because Ignacio Noy did a bunch of kids comics as well, which is just fucking fantastic. This is a ridiculously good book, just in exactly what you'd expect. Painted, beautiful painted style, super dirty. This woman is being told by her, I don't know, her agent, I guess, that she's too fat for a modeling career. And then, of course, they do have to fuck. Yeah, no shit, kids comics too. Yeah, I know, it's insane. You got to get this stuff out of your system, I guess. So you go to both extremes. So she goes to a doctor and gets some pills. Of course, she can't pay. Doctor, how shall I ever pay you? Pop a dick in a mouth, and there you go from there. So the pills kind of make her hyper aroused and hypersexual. So the rest of it is kind of in and out of dream and reality, where she's just kind of a complete, turns into a complete nymphomaniac. And it's just ridiculously good. It's so, again, it's exactly what you want out of some of these books. And it's just filled with sucking and fucking. Welcome to Crack After Dark here, I guess. So great stuff. Thank you very much. When this came in, my wife was like, "What the heck is that? Or what's in that bag?" I'm like, "It's an adult comic." And she's like, "Well, what do you mean an adult comic? Like it's got boobs in it or whatever?" I'm like, "No, no, it's a very adult comic." And she's like, well, what do you mean a very adult comic? So I picked up I picked up the book and kind of showed her some pages, and she, oh, I see. I understand. Holy smokes, look at that. There was a lot of those kind of comments. So great stuff. Thank you so much for this. This is the one. Mental note, don't watch this video at the library or at school. Modi part know each other. Oh, amazing. Oh no, your wife saw it. Yeah, I mean, don't sweat it, Dan. She doesn't give a single shit. It's not something that it's not something. I don't hide this stuff from her by any stretch. She's fully aware of the filth that's down in this room here. She just doesn't really have interest in it. But this one, I couldn't resist showing her pages from it just to get that reaction out of her. But she really doesn't. She really doesn't give two shits. Now your wife will have to pre-screen the post office for any packages for me in the future. Yeah, right. Just the next one, send in a black plastic bag, and we'll be fine. So then that way we can alert the whole neighborhood and stuff too. What else did I read this week? Let's start off with something else I didn't talk about in the chat this afternoon because honestly, I couldn't remember anything. On this one, I did get dinged with or did I get dinged with custom? No, I did not get dinged with custom charges on this one, Dan. I did not. I got dinged with custom charges on the Lone Star, but this one, nothing. So Aliens Alchemy, the 3-issue, miniseries, with Richard Corbin doing art, and I was enjoying it enough as I was reading it, but honestly, sitting here right now, I legitimately can't tell you a fucking thing about it. Was there some sort of, I think there was some sort of cult of people that were worshiping the alien because the alien marked kind of a change and like wrath possibly. But honestly, I can't remember much else about it. It wasn't the greatest of the alien stuff that I've read recently. It was beautiful Corbin stuff, and I was lingering on this cover because out of the 3, this is by far the most stunning of those 3 covers. Hopefully that's focusing enough there so you can see that. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. And of course, it is Corbin, so it does fit nicely into the collection. But yeah, there was nothing that really overly stood out to me. I think there was some sort of moment where it seemed like the religious nut jobs might actually be the good guys. It was a nice little moment where it felt like maybe they were going to try to pull a little bit of a twist, a little bait and switch on you there. But yeah, like I said, here for the Corbin art, absolutely. And he just wished he could have drawn this woman naked. Almost there. He almost got there. Dark Horse stopped him. Let's see. So that was that one. Great mail, rare, hard to find quality. Hope you didn't get dinged. Oh yeah, we saw that already. But I think his wife will soon be a Noe fan. I don't know about that. Either of them. I had some problem with Alchemy. Loved art, but couldn't remember story. Yeah, so we're in the same boat. At least it wasn't me. It wasn't just me. So yeah, good to have it. If you're a Corbin completist like me, then it's a must buy. But if you're just looking for something to read, I don't know. I'd say you could pass on this one. The beautiful thing about these is they're such short little stabs, right? So it is only 3 issues. So that's the bonus of that stuff. Just found out in February, Rebellion is finally publishing a hardcover collection of Action, their pre-2000 AD anthology that got canceled and banned in the UK for violent material. Oh, amazing. Can't wait for that one in February. That's pretty cool. Remind us as we get closer there, Dan, if the channel is still around, if I haven't been canceled for showing dicks and whatever else. While we're on the filth tip, why don't we keep going with it? So Autumn Earth, Tales from the End of Time, Rick McCollum, as you know, fan of the guy. I sent him a photo of this, and he responded saying, "Holy crap, I don't even have a copy of that." And he sort of told me a quick story about that at the time, the guy who was publishing, whose name I'm blanking on right now, spent all the money partying, and then Rick was surprised when he eventually saw him as an editor. I think it was at DC Comics. It was DC or Marvel. I think he might have said DC. Not much of a story, I know. It's all about the details. But I was asking him if he ever saw money from it, but he hasn't responded. We had a brief little chat. I think when he's drawing, he's all over online and posting stuff. We're still chatting, which is a positive sign, because I do want to dig into some of this stuff with him. So he was saying that this is some of his favorite stuff that he's ever done. As somebody that's been reading Rick McCallum for, I don't know, a couple of years at this point, it's probably my least favorite stuff of his that I've read. I think this might be something more personal for him. I didn't get as much out of it story-wise, and his art, since this is the first story is from 1984, the next one's from 1986, there just is something kind of missing from it, and we'll see a little bit more of what that missing element is when we look at the next book here, the Eros stuff. But it's still good to have anything from Rick. And there's just something about the detail that this actually feels a bit like Jared Osborne to me. There's something about this page and pages like this that kind of remind me of a Jared Osborne kind of vibe. Shout out to Jared if he is watching these. So it didn't kind of strike me as much. And then the next story, Paleo Necromancy from 1986. Same thing, didn't really do too much for me. Really glad that I got a copy of this. It was cheap at the end of the day. Always good to kind of add to the collection there. But the one that did surprise me with kind of how fucking good it turned out to be. And again, like, it's like watching, I don't know, softcore Jess Franco movies, or softcore kind of porn movies, and discovering Jess Franco, you know what I mean? And it has no right to be as good as it is. It just turns out to be, even though it's in a genre that the expectations are pretty low, let's say. I'd say that The Darker Side of Sex, this 4-issue series that, so Rick drew 2 Eros Comics series. They were both written by the same woman, Kathleen Hurley. First one was a 3-issue miniseries. This is a 4-issue miniseries. This was kind of amazing, to be honest. Especially once you kind of dug into issue number 3 and issue number 4, it kind of went places that definitely dark for sure, but pretty engaging. And I think part of what makes it so engaging, and what I love about Rick's art, is the kind of use of the whole page, the density, the kind of switching things up. I love that, looking through silhouettes at people, corner to corner, edge to edge, top to bottom. Really, really solid stuff. And then, of course, it's still chock full of sex. And I've said this before, there's one thing that McCallum's art isn't. It's erotic. It's just not. I mean, it's just not. It has an oddity to it that I love. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. But when I think of him, I don't automatically think of, let's do an erotic comic. But the way that it kind of transitions to issue 3 and issue 4 especially, it completely makes sense. So really very surprising read. Read it all pretty much in one chunk. This first one, we just kind of get introduced to our 2 main characters and their kind of sexual playtime. He gets handcuffed and blindfolded. She starts playing with a knife, and his imagination goes wild to the degree that he's at this point and thinking she's just butchering him. Of course, the blindfold comes off, and there was nothing of the sort. It was a credit card, and it was warm water to fake the blood and everything. So it kind of just gives you a good introduction to these characters, what kind of their world is, and then just kind of takes off from there. Issue number 4 was the one that again showed another side of McCullum's art and his use of a page. This one has a story going along the borders as well too, that seems just kind of random or atmospheric or something. So you have these stories that are going on here and here while our main story is in the middle. This is their wedding day now, and yeah, as the story kind of unfolds, the panel border story starts to integrate itself with the main story and is kind of the climax of this issue. So goddamn well done, man. Like, I was really surprised at this one. I'm very curious to talk to him about these. First of all, who sorry, I keep forgetting her name, who Kathleen Hurley was, and how this came about. What were the ideas? Was it very collaborative? Was this something that she spelled out for him? What was his contribution and things? So not easy to find, this Darker Side of Sex, but one that I would very much recommend if you're going to dig into the Eros Comics stuff. Yeah, I mean, his art, he's got a very singular style there, Dan. It's really his own. It's got nods to other stuff, but it really is his own style. I don't know if I've seen anything quite like it. It's very unique kind of voice. So moving away from the dirty books into why don't we talk about, oh, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is issue number 11. There's one more issue left in the Jason Aaron run of the new Ninja Turtles book from IDW. Not sure if someone is going to be picking it up and continuing with number 13, or if it's just going to be done here and then it's going to be a new number 1. This series has kind of been getting better and better as it's gone on. I think that this one, it was still pretty good. I think it kind of hit a little bit of a dip. I don't know if that's due to me thinking that it's coming to an end and it's just got to wrap up, or if that's something that's actually happening where maybe he did have a longer story in mind and they only decided to do 12. I have a feeling he was only ever supposed to do 12, but there you go. That page is really great too. The art is beautiful and full on spoiler alert. So if anybody wants to read this, I'll give you 5 more seconds. You can go away for 60 seconds and come back. Our main villain at the end gets mutated, and it's an amazing fucking page. Really amazing pages. He gets turned into a mutant that looks like, are you ready? Here we go. Looks like this. So our final issue is going to be a giant balls out fight between our villain and the turtles, which should be a blast. It's disappointing that it's wrapping up after 12. It started off a little rough. There was a few issues early on I really liked. I ended up dropping it pretty early. Rasa kind of talked about it a couple of months, and I picked it back up again because it sounded like it was getting interesting. Dan, thanks for hanging out, man. We'll see you next time. Clicking buttons here. So one more issue to go, and that'll be the end of it. That kind of stuff, I really like the old Turtles. It's this kind of stuff that makes me less interested in even experimenting with newer Turtles books, to be honest. I know that there's a whole history of Ninja Turtles to get through, but this kind of thing, I don't know if I'll be going on. I'd be curious to see if they do a number 13, like if they keep the numbering going and just have another creative team take over. I would prefer that. That would be a great thing to see, but I just don't know if that's going to happen. What do we got next here? What's over here? Those are bags and boards. Dude, so the rest of these, I feel like I had a pretty great reading week, and it's mainly due to the last three books we're going to talk about. Chaos and Comics, how you doing? The Legend of Mother Sarah. This is book 2, City of the Children. Katsuhiro Otomo and Takumi Nagayasu paused a Throbbing Gristle documentary to come here live. Dude, Throbbing Gristle documentary, is it a new documentary or is it an old one? And what the hell is it called? That would be amazing. I'd love to see that. So this is book 2 in the Legend of Mother Sarah. There was 3 books that were translated to English. There is more out there. Thanks to 420 this afternoon giving us that information, and Rasa found out as well too that we'd have to learn another language. So the only 3 books got translated into English, and that's really too bad. I liked the first volume. This one, for me so far, blows that first volume away. This was an incredible read. So goddamn good. 420 saying, I tried reading maybe 10 random IDW issues, Turtles, didn't get into them. Yeah, I can completely see that. I can see why that would be. It's hard to live up to the original run, man. It's really, really great. I think it's old. It's on YouTube. No, I haven't seen it, so I'll have to check it out. So we get introduced to some of my favorite stuff. I love seeing how artists interpret winter in some of these books. And this one is really gorgeous. You can see by this there, for example, beautiful, beautiful intro to this volume. The thing is, like, look at these fucking panels, dude. This is incredible. I mean, if the whole book was like this, that would put it into the top shelf of the top tier. But it's still a fantastic read, and it's just a really nice introduction to this volume. We get our intro to the city as they start walking in, and then we kind of go to the traditional manga style. It's Sarah is looking for her children in this one. This is one where I do want to not talk about too much of it because there's some really big reveals in this. That there was one reveal where it was one of those pause, put the book down, and literally out loud go, "What the fuck?" and then look at it again and then say, "What the fuck?" again. There was a moment in there that really genuinely shocked me, that I genuinely did not see coming. There was hints at it when I start thinking about the rest of the book and the read up until that point, but genuinely shocked me. So Sarah, the world is, the post-apocalyptic world, yada yada yada. There's a group that I think they're the Mother Earth group, the ME group, the Me group. They find this city. Me is trying to deal with rejuvenating the planet. When they come across this town, it's filled with young people, and these young people, this first issue especially, is kind of timeless. The young people blame all of the old people, whether they were responsible for the destruction or just bystanders. So they really created this society where the older generation is not looked at with any sort of reverence, absolutely none whatsoever. Everybody that's above a certain age is treated like absolute garbage. So that's kind of our intro to this world. Sarah's journey is to find her children after they've been separated. And it's a hell of a story, man. Really, really incredible. This kid is amazing. There's some beautiful stuff in here. I'm probably, as usual, I need to check some stuff off as I'm going. I mean, pages like this are stunners. Really amazing stuff. Just a very, very well-paced book. So issue 2 is an exceptional read. So issue 2 is mostly silent, and it does a bit of flashback. So in volume 1, we've already found out how they kind of get to this point, and in volume 2 here, they sort of bring us from this point forward. What's happening with these people? These people that are survivors that have escaped the planet. And it's really nicely paced, gives you all of the information that you need to know. People dying from the heat when they finally find shade. It's filled with kind of like this militia who come and just terrorize them and kill a bunch of people. And they don't hold back on the violence either in this book. It's pretty explicit, pretty gruesome stuff, but so so fucking good. I'm really impressed with this book a hell of a lot. I do want to get The City of Angels, even though knowing that there's more after it, I'm dying to see what the third volume is going to be. So, and I don't know why this one didn't catch on, that they decided not to, pardon me, that they decided not to, um, pardon me, do more English reprints. I can't imagine that this was something that didn't sell. We get our kind of typical. There's one or two unfortunate moments. A moment like this is kind of, it's a little too kind of expected, I guess. I understand why these moments are there, but they do kind of get tired when you see them story after story, media after media, movies. But yeah, I won't even show you some of those pages because that's quite a reveal there too. Anyway, overall, fucking stellar read. 7 issues, 1990 what? I think that says 1996 is when this came out. So keep your eyes peeled for that one if you're interested. Chaos and Comics is saying, I don't know if I have these. Worth hunting down. 420. By the way, if you don't yet have Mirage Leo #1, I'll give you. I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. M8S R8S. Mirage Leo. Which one is that? 420. And then Modit Part, treat yourself to the history of Combe in the book Wreckers of Civilization. That'll broaden your outlook on Throbbing Gristle. Excellent. Thank you, Modit. So a solid one there. 2 more to go. I decided to pick up, based on the last book we'll talk about, Supergirl. This one caught my attention when I was at the shop. This is Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, by the creators of Ice Cream Man. It's on DC's Black Label. The gist of it is Superman's experimenting with drugs with the help of Batman. And it's a really great fucking premise, actually. And this was a really solid read. I like this a lot more than I thought I would. I do like the art style. So basically, there's been new colors of kryptonite that have been discovered. So Superman gets a hold of Batman and says, "We need to test this shit out, bro. And you need to be my guy. You need to watch my back because I don't know what the hell these are going to do to me." The premise is I want to experiment with them myself with your help, because if this does get into someone's hands like Lex Luthor, at least I'll have an idea of what this stuff does. So purple kryptonite. Oh. Leonardo #1 from the old Mirage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that is. Okay, yes. I think I might have that one, but let me double check there, 420. So the first one, this purple one, it causes him to kind of shift back and forth in time, and nothing kind of unfolds for him in kind of a regular kind of way. So it starts off a little subtly where there's some dialogue that you don't quite know if he's hallucinating or not, or what he's seeing or who he's talking to. But as the effects kind of dig in deeper on him, we get a better sense of how he's seeing the world. So Bruce holds up a calendar, and that's kind of how he's seeing the world. Everything is kind of jumbled and out of order. So he's seeing almost like a Watchman there, the blue guy whose name I'm blanking on, seeing all time at all points and not really knowing which is going to happen and what's happening and what time period he's in, and back and forth. Really, really nice little moment. It also creates a really nice moment for comic books, to be honest, in the form of these pages. Solomon Grundy is sent out by Lex Luthor, and a fight ensues. So we get all these kind of jumbled panels. The narration is taking us through the story. The panels don't relate to anything that's going on, and it's sort of in a comic book kind of way. It doesn't quite make sense. There's something going on, but because of the narration, your brain sort of plays this trick on you, thinking that this is sort of the way the story is unfolding, only to come to a point where Superman realizes what's happening, and then we get a page where the past 4 pages that we've read are put into order for us, which is such a clever way to kind of illustrate what's going on with him and really put you in the moment. I was kind of impressed with this, to be honest. I don't expect anything from the majority of superhero books in general, but I especially don't expect anything from a Superman DC book. I think this is going to be a fun one. There's 3 more colors to go, so I imagine there's going to be 3 more issues. I don't know if they're going to have a 5th or something to wrap it up. But if you are into experimenting with something that's on the shelves, especially if you like the Ice Cream Man stuff, I think you'll dig that for sure. Thanks for the tip on this title. Trade will be ordered. Supergirl rocks hard. Yeah, and that's the one that we're going to end on tonight. The one that kind of knocked my fucking socks off. I was surprised. I was legitimately surprised at how much I loved this book. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, an 8-issue miniseries. Yes, an 8-issue series. So this is the creative team behind Helen of Windhorn, Tom King and Bilquis Evely and Mateus Lopez on colors. Fucking stunner of a book, man. The first 3 issues, really great kind of introduction to the world. Our main character, Ruthie, I think it's either Ruth or Ruthie. Page 1, her father gets killed. He's a rock farmer. So we right away get thrown into this world. Ruthie finds the body. The art vibe is Charles Vess. Yeah, there's definitely a Charles Vess vibe to it for sure. The guy who's killed him has left the sword in her father, so she is now going to look for revenge. Her brothers aren't going to go and do anything about it. She's determined to go and get revenge. Her mother recognizes that in her, that stubbornness, and says, "You should go. Then go. Take your father's steed and get the hell out of here, and good luck to you," basically. So she starts to look for someone to help her in this quest, and of course stumbles onto Supergirl, who is getting shit-faced. Hits her birthday, and she's getting trashed. And it just kind of goes from there. The first 3 issues are pretty great, giving you a nice kind of overview of the story. But I think it really peaks at like issue 4, 5, and 6. Those 3 issues back to back are absolute stunners. And those 3 issues, I think, make this kind of a classic in kind of superhero comics. This is one I could easily see sitting and reading again. Probably going to pass it on to my daughter, to be honest, to see if she wants to check this one out. I think she might get a kick out of this too. I can't even begin to tell you that there's something about the Superman characters that some writers just seem to have a kind of natural grasp of. These are really good people just trying to do their best, understanding that they have these powers. There's one moment in here where our narrator, who is Ruthie, this is kind of, she's narrating the whole story because she's written a book about this time, talks about Supergirl's immense power and how she's always harnessing that power so she can do things like walk side by side with you down the beach. And it's just a beautiful little passage that, you know, almost brought a tear to my eye. Really, really nicely done. I don't know what else to say about it other than this is going to be one of the top reads of the year for sure. And like I said, absolutely one that I will revisit and highly, highly recommended. Very, very much recommended. So thank you to everybody who recommended this book to me when I was reading Helen, because there was a number of you that suggested this book. So I appreciate it because better, even better than I thought it was going to be. I really enjoyed the ending as well too. it sort of it tied things up, but it still left a little bit of ambiguity, so you could kind of make up your own decision to some degree. Your interpretation is obviously going to be a thing. The only thing that always doesn't necessarily bother me isn't quite the word, but the only thing that's in the back of my mind about this is Tom King, and his kind of military past, I guess. Maybe I won't show you these last pages there because that's the last chapter. So always being conscious of like kind of propaganda and things. So you always end up reading between the lines a little bit, but goddamn, it was a great fucking book. So if you don't have it, if you don't know it, very, very highly recommended. The other couple of books that I got from the shop this week, that I haven't tucked into yet, Hellboy and the BPRD, a one-shot with art by Giuseppe Minunta, and it's his art that caught my attention on this one. Beautiful. It's not a name that I'm familiar with. I'm sure if I dug into it and looked at what else he's done, I'm sure there'll be titles that I know, but it's not coming to me off the top of my head. But this being a one shot and this having art that looks the way it did made it an easy sale for me. So that's gonna be a good one. There was also a new Adventure Time issue number 5, and then we also had the newest Mothra issue. This is issue number 5 as well. I don't know if this is the final issue or not. Let's see at the end. Yes, so this is the final issue of Mothra. And again, this is the book that just has this very overwhelming art style that a couple of issues, it was actually difficult to follow what the hell was going on just because of the style. I mean, just looking at it on the screen is incredible. It's an incredible sight. But it really does become kind of overloading when you look at the page. So I imagine this issue is going to be now the final boss fight between Mothra and our villain of the book. So overall, pretty great. Is this Jake Smith? Is that the artist's name on this one? No, I'm wrong. Story by Sophie Campbell. Art and color assists by Matt Frank. Color by Roberto Rivera Padro. Yeah, so there you go. Mothra, the final one there. I think that's it, my friends. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll probably see you next weekend. I'm working on Saturday, but I'm hoping that I have some time to do some more reading this week. The Fantagraphics books I'm hoping will show up this week as well too. If you supported the sale, from what I hear talking to Colin, they had a really good response from people that were supporting the shop while they're going through this lawsuit with Diamond. I think that they've now gotten into the spot where they're offering something to stores directly, a sale directly to them, which is great. So I hope my meager contribution helped them out, because fuck Diamond and long live Fantagraphics. Right on, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you.